Let me see here. Okay, so we're live. My name is Ryan Steinolfson, and you've probably got actually two people that have probably the most difficult last names to pronounce, both in the same room at the same time on the same live event. So it's going to be interesting. But I've got Lasse. I'm just gonna go with his first name. He's a great guy. And for you guys that don't know me, my name again is Ryan Steinolfson. I help businesses and brands leverage live video and digital marketing to get their message out there and to get more customers. And Lasse does digital marketing as well. We're colleagues. We met at the Vid Summit in LA, and we're just brothers from another mother, as I like to say, because we immediately clicked. He's a VR AR guy, augmented reality, virtual reality guy, and a tech guy, and he loves the gadgets. And he's just an all-around cool dude. Does a lot of keynote presentations. Again, has an agency. We have just so much in common, and it's just really cool connecting with somebody that has a lot of the same interests. But with that, I'll let you just introduce yourself and let people know a little bit more about you as well, Lasse.
Good, perfect. So thanks, Ryan, and thanks for the introduction. You already shared a lot of things there, and I would say I'm not maybe VR and AR guy, but I'm just a person who is interested on the future and want to share everything that's important for the companies for the next few years. And there's a lot of things, as you know, right? So also, let's say Facebook marketing and Facebook Live, I think it's amazing for most companies, but in this presentation, we'll focus on virtual reality.
That sounds great. And so we're going live currently. We're live on Lasse's Facebook page, and I know that there's a lot of people that I think you work with a lot of Spanish speaking people, but yeah. So if you're on there, I apologize. A lot of people know me as Gringo Grande in the so I can't I don't know a lot of Spanish, but we'll hopefully you guys will be able to understand what we're saying, and I'm just really excited because I think that there's a and you're right. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity with these technologies, whether it's Facebook Live or augmented reality, virtual reality. And the question is, Facebook Live, the ability to be able to go live, whether it's Periscope or on YouTube, is a very cutting edge technology in and of itself. Let alone being able to, businesses are still small, medium-sized businesses. You work with a lot of businesses. I know you mentioned a restaurant that you're working with. We could talk all day long about how live video would specifically benefit them. I mean, the fact that you can basically have your own live TV station and broadcast to over 1.7 billion people on Facebook, and leverage the technology and the strategy that we're using right now, which is to go live and interview somebody. That's a whole topic in and of itself, and we could talk about that. But today, like you said, is I really want to leverage your knowledge of augmented reality, virtual reality. There's a lot of my colleagues that are in the live space, like Cathy Hackl, Ryan Bell, guys like that I'm introducing you to, and Brian Fanzo, that are over here in North America. You're doing this over, primarily over in Europe, and with the crew over there. What I'm wondering is what do you see, in terms of, opportunity to leverage live video, or not live video, but virtual reality and augmented reality for a business in order for them to be able to promote themselves? Do you really see that as being something that's real now? And how, and if so, how would a business leverage those technologies to create a strategic advantage? Because that's what really happens, I think, is that like when they leverage like a Facebook Live technology now, it creates an authority kind of an advantage, because when people see that they're leveraging these technologies, I think it positions them as the authority and in a different light maybe than their competitors. But why don't you just expand on that and just and let me know what we should know about that.
Sure, and that's a really good question, and you are totally right. It's always like whoever is the first gets the most attention, right? So the first stage, there's a lot of things that come when you are starting with new technology. One of them is that you have to get familiar with the technology, and with virtual reality, that means that you have to get, some kind of Google Cardboard or some kind of thing that you can start viewing videos and work in virtual reality and understanding how it could be used. And after that, I would search different options or different examples, because nowadays it can be used in different fields, and as we are getting more and more of these cameras like Ali Cam, the 360 cameras, it will be more and more easier. And basically, I think like in 3 years, we will see it all over the place. For example, hospitals will use it, schools and universities will use it because it's so much more fun to learn. I think when you're learning with virtual reality, you forget that you are learning, right? Because it's just so immersive and amazing, and it's just fun. And then when you mention businesses need to sell, right? And that selling used to happen person to person, and now we are using online and webinars and so on. And VR, I think, is the most powerful way to impact the emotions of people, because they will remember that experience for a long time. So the key here is to be the first one in your city or in your sector to offer this kind of thing. For example, if you are selling houses, you need to be the first one in your city to say that, hey, come here to the office and you can put these on and you can see, you can see 3 of our houses that are on sale, and you don't have to travel 2 hours to get to see them and so on. So things like these will get a huge, they will become viral, because people have started to say to others that, hey, have you already seen this and this place? Because there you can check these VR houses and so on. And then, of course, for example, travel industry. I think in Finland and many Nordic countries, they already sell travel trips to Southern Europe, and basically they just say that, hey, put these goggles on or put this VR headset on, and you can see how it looks like in the beach of Italy or Spain. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunities, but the most important thing would be not to fear these technologies and to start learning how to use them.
So you're saying that the small businesses, medium-sized businesses, any business in general should at least start familiarizing themselves with the tools and the technology of VR and AR, because it's come in their way, is basically what you're saying. And so you had mentioned goggles, and you had mentioned, so for the people that don't really know what you mean by the goggles or whatever, can you, I don't know if you want to share your screen maybe show that'd be great. Sure. And yeah, it is getting a little bit darker there. So maybe, I don't know if you have lights in the, yeah.
Okay. Can you now see my screen?
Let me see. Hold on 1 second. I'll tell you. Yes, I can.
Okay, awesome. So basically, when talking about VR and AR and all these things, we always have to see what the big guys are doing, what the biggest companies are doing, like Google and Facebook and all of them. And as you can see, this is really interesting. This is Facebook 10-year roadmap. So they're already planning for 10 years. And basically, whatever Facebook spends time on will be extremely relevant and important for all of us, right? And you can see on this corner here that one of their things is VR and AR, right? So they invest heavily for this. They bought Oculus some time ago, and basically they are doing many things. Like here, I have one slide where Mark Zuckerberg says that we are making a long-term bet that this kind of immersive and virtual or augmented reality is how people will spend their days, which is quite significant. And another slide that I had here was simply showing this picture, interesting, from World Mobile Congress from Barcelona. And so it was a congress about mobile phones, but it was all about VR this year, right? And next year, who knows what they will be talking. But basically it's so new and interesting right now that I would definitely start like looking into it more and start seeing how it works. Okay, and actually let me set up my lighting so you can ask me the next question or maybe elaborate more of what I was talking. So give me 30 seconds. I will put the lighting.
Okay, yeah, and so well, I don't know if you can you still hear us, Lasse?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so where would this where was this present this this is obviously a presentation, so this is from Bid Summit, right?
So this is the slide you see now. That's Mark Zuckerberg's presentation a few months back. But this PowerPoint I presented in Bid Summit. Yeah.
Okay. So what's interesting is that my agency is working with a company called Ollie Camera. So my experience with virtual reality is with their product, which is a softball sized camera that's got two different lenses on it, one on each side, so that you can get a full 360-degree video with the camera, and it actually streams live to YouTube, which is very interesting. So when the person that is viewing the video on YouTube, when they see it on their phone and they move their phone, it's as if they're physically right exactly where that actual camera is at in space. So if that camera is live and it's being, and it's like you had mentioned before, and it's in a house for a virtual walkthrough tour, then basically wherever that camera goes, it's as if your head is right there where that camera's at, and you can fully turn around 360 degrees and see what that camera is seeing, because it's got two different lenses, one on each side. And if you have the goggles are meant to put the camera inside of the goggles so that you're immersed, so that it blocks everything out, so that you literally feel like you're there, like you're at that, you're doing a walkthrough tour, for example. And that's really the lowest hanging fruit, right? I mean, obviously there's a direct correlation to people that are realtors, when they're showing something that's visual, to be able to show, to leverage a virtual camera like the Ollie camera to show their properties. I mean, that's like an obvious use case. What's interesting is how they're starting, how businesses, and not just businesses, but how different events are starting to use 360-degree cameras. Because what you can do now, and what we're seeing is we're seeing that there's events that are putting one of these cameras right up on stage, and they're selling tickets for people to be able to view from that camera. So you're literally front and center, be able to experience and hear and see exactly what's going on, right there at that event. When I was at the Vid Summit, I was asked a question. I think you were there when I went live, and you're sharing it out to the HH Digi consultants, which is cool. And she asked a question, about how she could get better engagement on her live videos. Well, what better way to do that than to stream live in 360 degrees and create more of an experience, more of an immersive experience, leveraging live video. Now that's live, that's actual virtual reality, meaning it's virtual, and it makes it feel like you're actually there, even though you're not. So that's why it's not augmented reality. There's a difference. Augmented reality is where there's computer generated components to what you're experiencing through the goggles in that virtual space that you can manipulate. That's the augmented component of the reality experience. So anyway, and there's all kinds of uses for this. Really the stepping stone to get to augmented reality is through virtual reality, and we can show you examples. I can show you some videos that are in VR, and actually I think that would probably be a really good thing to show right now, so that people can really kind of get some context as to what it is that we're talking about. So, and these are things that people can can use right now. I think you can probably see my screen here. So here's,
Yeah.
I'm just using Ollie camera because it's, I mean, it's what I know. I mean, but there's other cameras out there. This is one, like I said, I mean, just full disclosure. I mean, we are, my agency is doing work with Ollie camera, and right now we're identifying, what use cases there are. Obviously an obvious one is for realtors to do virtual walkthrough tours, whether that's a live walkthrough tour where the company would stream live to their YouTube channel, and then people would all jump in and they would experience that live virtual walkthrough, or where of course the phone goes off like you said,
yeah.
or where they're doing screen captures in 360 and they're stitching them together so that somebody could go through and do a virtual walkthrough at any time they want to in the future. So there's you can do this live, and here's the camera right here. This is what it looks like, and let me show you what it looks like in 360. Here's the actual. This is what a 360 video looks like, and this is the experience that you'd have on a desktop. It's different. Here, let me just show you. So it's gonna go through this little. Okay, so I'm gonna pause this just so you can see. So that's a video. It's not live. It's recorded, but you can see how I can spin the. This is 360-degree virtual reality video here. I've just paused it, but imagine if this was an image. And imagine that there was another image that was taken in this room, and what you can do is you can move from one room to another, from one photograph to another, and experience that entire space in virtual reality. And you could either do it like this without goggles, or you could do it with goggles to enhance that experience. So, and this is again, this is full 4K. The resolution 4K is really kind of an industry standard. If it's 4K, that means it's pretty much one of the highest qualities that you can get, and you can actually adjust your quality here. See, let me just adjust this to 4K. It wasn't even at 4K. Let me show you what it looks like in 4K. So and I'm going to go to full screen. So it's now just buffering to generate that full 4K experience. So yeah, it's a really good tip for you guys that are watching this kind of stuff later. I mean, you can see, that's pretty darn clear,
Yeah.
That's
basically you can see everything you would see if you would visit that house. So it looks amazing.
Exactly. I mean, look at how clear that is. I mean, that's and if you're watching this on Blue Jeans, hopefully, you're going to see it a little bit distorted because it's coming through like Facebook, and so it's not going to be as clear as if you actually saw it on YouTube and eventually on Facebook. Now, that's the other thing I want to share is that Facebook, you can share on Facebook 360-degree photos. You just can't share 360-degree videos yet. That's coming very soon, and actually the Ollie camera is going to be integrated with Facebook, or they're working on that. And that's going to happen sometime in the near future. YouTube is the only one currently that is actually playing live 360-degree videos, and that's what's really interesting. And and you can actually upload 360-degree. No, you can't upload 360-degree videos yet to Facebook. You can. It's just the images.
Only photos. Correct.
Just photos. Yeah. Just stills.
Yeah.
So anyway, I hope you guys can kind of understand.
Actually, I think you can. If they are recorded videos, you can. I think there's a setting for that.
You can okay. And I haven't seen one yet, but I know anyway. So that's coming down. So this is you got the two biggest video platforms in the world leveraging these tools, and hopefully now as a business owner you can see the potential application for your business or applications. There's obviously, like you've got industries like media leveraging these tools to do interviews, and you've even got the movie industry creating whole movies in 360 where the person is in control of their own experience because they're literally immersed in the movie and they can see around themselves. And that's part of the challenge, if you will, is that really and the opportunity is that really the person is in control of their own experience. They can actually see where they want to see, as opposed to just seeing a square, and me as the producer being in control of what that person sees or experiences. So that's the opportunity, though, for a business, is you can create, obviously, as a realtor, a live walkthrough tour. You can actually have like an auction type setting where you're going live from, and we're actually getting one of these alley cameras in the hands of a realtor in Australia that is doing a lot of virtual walkthrough tours with still photos, like I was sharing with you, where somebody could, once they're stitched together, they can walk through, not live, but later on when they actually want to walk through the house, they can watch those. They can actually be immersed in those photos. But now those 360 photos. But now what we're doing is we're saying, okay, we're creating an event on YouTube. We're saying, hey, jump onto YouTube when we go live, and basically, if you've got a lot of buyers, and you could actually create an auction type of an environment where they're like, oh my gosh, like I want that property, and almost like more, you could create more competition, if you will. So there's unique opportunities, because the person is there, it's as if you're there. So for the first time, you can bring a bunch of people into a space at one time and have them fully experience that space. And the realtors that I'm talking to that are doing this are actually selling and renting their houses in half the time and with half of the effort, because all they're doing is uploading the videos, and then people are helping themselves. They're going to the walkthrough tours and they're renting the houses sight unseen, or buying the houses sight unseen, because they can't, maybe they're in another country, and either with the goggles or without the goggles, they can actually walk through the property. And so what other industries do you see, Lasse, are there opportunities like that, with an obvious one like real estate, with using VR and AR?
Well, I think there's many, and basically the most important thing is to start to get familiarized, because there's so many, right? So for example, if we think about, you can easily think about anything that needs simulation. So anything where you are showing people something in the future that could be shown using VR, right?
Yeah,
and
yes.
For example, and anything that comes to education, or let's say you want to learn something new like NLP, or you want to learn how to be some kind of, or how to have a new kind of hobby or whatever, all those things can be shown in a way that you will remember them much faster, and also you will get excited, and that's why they call it, it's like immersive thing. And I wanted to comment here, Magnus Lindfors from Helsinki commented and posted a great link there about the Unity CEO, who says in Bloomberg that the VR is in the early stages, but will be gigantic. And it's exactly like that we are still starting and we are testing and playing out. And one interesting thing when you were showing that example of the house there, Ryan, was that I was thinking right now, one of the problems is always the connectivity, right? If you want to do live 360 video for YouTube, there's always the connection, that do you have enough data plan or Wi-Fi? But soon enough, we will have like 5G connections all over the place. And that will be amazing. And I think when we have that, already a lot of people will be doing it. So that's why it's so important to start early, because you can be early adopter, and you can get much better reach, right? And people will kind of like start sharing your stuff when you do it early. So I think it's exactly like that we are just starting out with this.
Well, yeah, and so we are definitely just starting out with this. And by the way, Cathy Hackl, and that's the power of Blue Jeans, and the fact that we can go live. And I'm just saying, I always like to say with my clients is do as I do, and so leverage the tools that I'm leveraging, like Blue Jeans, in order to go live and create a much more engaging conversation with multiple people, like experts like Lasse, by interviewing them and creating a collaborative type environment, and talk about new concepts that have to do with your industry. But yeah, I mean, and that's, to your point, is staying ahead of the curve, like leveraging the technology so that you can increase your reach, whether that's live video augmented reality, virtual reality, what have you. But yeah, I mean, I really, yeah, there's so much that's happening, and Meta is give us some of the companies that people should be aware of. In your, just kind of give us a little list of some of the virtual reality, augmented realities, and some of the numbers that we're talking about, what we talked about at the Vid Summit, that's being invested into these companies by big companies like Disney and Google, and just run through the list of some of those companies, and how big these industries are becoming very quickly. Just to give us some perspective.
Well, actually, I don't have the list right here, but basically, let me think what I was sharing. Yeah, so basically, we were sharing that virtual reality is a great starting point, and after that, we'll have like augmented reality when the cell phones are much better and so on. They say that next year, Apple's new cell phone or mobile phone, which will be Apple 8 or iPhone 8, will be amazing for augmented reality and so on. And I think the company that we mentioned is this really interesting company in Florida called Magic Leap, which is something called mixed reality, which is even more amazing, where we would see like holograms, and we would not use computer screens anymore and so on. So I was mentioning that they got more than $1 billion in funding, and they don't even have any clients, or the product is not out, which is amazing if we think about it. So definitely it's growing really fast. And I would say that, again, I would recommend everybody to follow anything that they see related to VR, because what happens is that people are so busy and they think that this doesn't like affect me and so on. So that's why you want to learn about this as fast as you can,
Yeah, so I'm just doing
I'm in here. Hold on. Are you guys seeing me?
I am now.
Okay. Okay, fantastic.
Cathy.
Fantastic. Hello, my VR people. What's up?
What's going on? So I'm really excited. So Cathy is because I wanted to introduce you guys, and that's the power of this tool. That's why part of the reason why I'm so excited about leveraging tools like Blue Jeans, because you can bring people together. One of the things that I am is a connector, and I met Lasse at the Vid Summit, and I've known Cathy for a little while in the live space, live video space, and now she's now very active in the AR and VR space. And so I figured, hey, if I'm going to get somebody in here, Cathy's the person. And so Lasse, Cathy, Lasse.
Hello, Lasse. How you doing?
Great. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you. I'm glad you brought up Magic Leap, because, and I don't know if you guys define mixed reality, but mixed reality is going to be that, when you're going to have that digital overlay over the real world, but with mixed reality, you can interact with that digital element. So I think that the announcement, for example, that Microsoft did yesterday with the Hololens and what's coming is truly fantastic, because they're moving forward with the mixed reality. Of course, Magic Leap has kind of at least from what we understand, from the little bit that we do know, is going to revolutionize the way we engage with the digital elements in reality. And I have a contact at Magic Leap, so it's been interesting to kind of understand a little bit more about what they're doing. And and I think the owner, the CEO of Magic Leap, said it best when he said he wants to change he wants to build the next iteration of what a computer is going to look like.
Well, so is there anything that we can show that would show people what we're talking about?
Yes.
So let's demonstrate it. Let's show it.
There's some YouTube videos. If you go to their YouTube channel, because right now, what you're going to see is there's a lot of legal things going on between the Silicon Valley office and the Florida office, and some lawsuits. So that's probably what people are going to find. But if you go to their YouTube channel, you're going to be able to see a little bit more of what they're focusing on, and just a sneak peek as to what they are doing. But this is just minimal. We have to remember, Magic Leap is like Lasse said, is the most funded startup in the history of the world, and has a huge investment from Lucasfilms. So
whoa, so those are the kind of numbers that we're talking about. I mean, when we're saying the most well-funded company in the history of the world, I mean,
the most well-funded startup in the history of the world.
Yeah, startup. I mean, that's a pretty big statement, and that's why I'm saying that this is on the way. And you guys, like, we think that Facebook was big and all these are on par with what we're going to see. And this is kind of what you can do. I mean, do you want to talk to what we're seeing here? What this is? This is what you're talking about in terms of the augmented reality.
This is mixed reality, really. In their core and in essence, Magic Leap considers themselves mixed reality. And what is innovative about this and what is different from the HoloLens is that Magic Leap does work with your eye. I don't know how to explain it, but the way they're doing everything. Yes, with eye tracking and more so than eye tracking, they're working with something related to how your eye perceives reality. So because when I've used the Microsoft HoloLens, I know they're holograms, I know they're not real, but the way they're perfecting this technology, it's not only eye tracking, but they're also working with your eye lenses for it to create a way for your brain to think that these things are real. So it's extremely interesting the way that they're pursuing this technology. So there's another company called Meta, which I've had the privilege of testing their developer sets. And I can't, I signed an NDA, so I can't really tell you, but I can tell you that their founder is a neuroscientist. So there's beyond, just the tech environment and the tech part that goes behind this. There's a lot of science, a lot of neuroscience on how your brain's going to eventually use these technologies. So it's pretty interesting.
Is there a video of you out here that we can see you using it? If I type in?
No, because I signed an NDA. All you can see, they have a really good video with Robert Scoble. I mean, Robert Scoble cried after wearing the Meta glasses.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
It's that exciting.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's will.i.am, and there's a whole bunch of different important people, let's say, that are interested in Meta. Obviously, Magic Leap is the most mysterious startup company in the world. No one really understands or knows what they're doing. I'm personally trying to get a demo through my contact. It's really, really hard to get in there. I do have a friend at NASA who's going there in December and apparently doing a demo with them. So it's pretty exciting to see where this is going to lead. So,
are these the goggles? Are these Meta's?
That's from 2014. So that's actually the prior model. If you go to their YouTube channel, to Meta's YouTube channel, you'll be able to see. Yeah, this is the first version of their developer kit. So.
Okay, I'm gonna go there. So let's see. Where?
Yeah, Gribbets. You see Maron Gribbets. That's their CEO. Meta. There you go. Meta. Right there.
Okay, so here's the build groundbreaking AR tools and experiences. So this is let me just go.
Yeah, and if you go to that video, or
I just want to get people in a kind of an understanding. I know will.i.am is going to be doing some stuff. I want to see there's Robert Scoble. So where is the actual? Oh man, where's the use of the actual tool? I want to see.
There's actually.
There we go.
The CEO did an actual. Yeah, it's fantastic. The CEO did a really amazing TED talk where he kind of demoed the technology.
Okay, so hopefully that's what the actual goggles look like, I guess. Mm-hmm. But you can really have an experience where you're able to immerse yourself in that environment. How do you see, Cathy? That's kind of what it looks like. Again, it's kind of like, what's that movie with Tom Cruise like 7, 8 years ago?
Minority
Report.
Yeah,
where he's got the goggles on and he's manipulating things that are in the air, and that's basically what we're talking about. It's something, the computer is no longer a physical object. It's something that's hovering in space in front of you that you can experience through the goggles that you're wearing, and through the neurological experience that they're trying to create, so that we can expand our ability to be able to accomplish things and to create new things, I think it's pretty cool. So how do you think that businesses can leverage this technology? I mean, how do you bring this down to a business level. Obviously, with the what I call kind of like the bridge technology of virtual reality, which is what really virtual reality is, of the Ollie camera, where you can drop an Ollie camera in the middle of a room as a realtor, and you can allow people to experience that room. How that's we can use that here and now. I mean, that's we can use that type of technology as a business. How do you see a business leveraging this kind of technology, other than the obvious of like my wife, who's an interior designer, creating spaces with it? How would you how would you market a business with it, or how would you, what uses do you see for these technologies?
Lasse, do you want to go first?
Well, basically, I actually wanted, I kind of like mentioned it beforehand, and that's why I wanted your input. But I wanted to say that it's interesting. There's so many things happening, so many people are kind of like confused, right? So I would recommend everybody to get first familiar with VR, and after you are familiar with that, you can start understanding AR, augmented reality, and so on, because we are mentioning so many things. But yeah, Cathy, if you can share like VR examples for companies, local companies or any kind of companies.
Well, I can tell you, okay, so I'll give you a few use cases, but I'll give you a clear example on how a small business or a business of any size is eventually going to be able to use these technologies. So, and if I ever use VR, I might use it as a blanket term. But let me give you an example. For example, let's say you are at a networking event and you are wearing your Hololens or your Meta or whatever it is, or your Magic Leap or whatever it is that you're wearing. The fact is that when you're in VR, you're completely immersed in this world. You're blocked from the outside world. But when you're in augmented or in mixed reality, you see the real world, but with a digital overlay. So let's say you're at a networking event and you're trying to figure out who there could be a potential client. So normally a lot of people would use, let's say, LinkedIn for lead generation and qualifying those leads, right? That's one of the biggest places that people go to do this. What if you are wearing your glasses, you're at this event, and through those glasses, you're able to identify who they are and who their title is. Let's say their LinkedIn profile and their title pops up. And you're able to kind of scout the room and say, okay, this one. And through that, you're seeing the real world, but you're starting to see who these people are, and you're able to mark them or tag them so that you get a chance to follow these people around the room and network with them. So I think that that's a very clear example, because when you show up to an event, you normally don't know who everyone is. Or you might know, I heard so-and-so's here, but I don't know who they are. But if this has a way of identifying that and pop up their title, and you're able to look at their LinkedIn profile before you go and talk to them, I mean, this is amazing power for lead generation.
Yeah.
It
I
really
agree.
It really is. And sorry, Lasse, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that also a lot of people will be like freaking out because of the privacy things, right? That you can kind of like see everything of them. And there's a lot of differences between the privacy laws in US and in Europe and so on. So there's many issues. But yeah, it will be totally amazing. And also we wanted to get your input on how was it that when you were using HoloLens. But Ryan, say your point first.
Well, I mean, I think, for the people that are confused, it's really simple. Virtual reality is what we showed before in the YouTube video for the Ollie camera. It's being able to, in my opinion, and I don't, Cathy, you can probably explain this much better than me.
Yeah, I've got it already defined, because everywhere I go, they always ask me, okay, define these in an easy way.
Please
so do you want me to do that?
Yes.
Okay, so virtual reality, VR, as we understand it, is when you are fully immersed. You are fully immersed in a virtual environment, be it 360-degree video or be it a computer-generated, digital environment. So you're literally wearing your headset and you're blocking the outside world. You're fully immersed in this experience. You're not relating to the outside world. Augmented reality, and the gateway drug, the way my friend calls it, the gateway drug to augmented reality, was Pokemon Go through your phone. Okay. So with augmented reality, you are seeing the real world, but there's a digital element to it, or a digital overlay. So in this case was the little Pokemon, or in the case of Snapchat, it's the lenses.
Right.
Mixed reality, which is one step further from augmented, is when you are able, okay, and then in virtual reality, let me go back. In virtual reality, you're able to have an effect on elements. You have agency. When you're in mixed reality, you are in the real world, but you are able to interact with digital overlay or the digital elements. So that's what makes it a little bit different. Okay.
Gotcha. So mixed reality means you're able to see the normal world, and then things will pop up, like you said, the LinkedIn profiles of people that you want to find that are in a group, and it'll basically identify them so that you can have a better experience and be more specific in terms of who you you talk to, or who you want to maybe identify as somebody that you want to connect with.
Yeah, and you're able to engage with that and to manipulate it. For example, the examples that the HoloLens shows of like the MRI 3D scans of the brain, where the surgeons are able to expand on them and look at how the different different veins or whatever it is, ventricles, whatever within the brain work. When you're able to manipulate that and you're able to kind of have an impact on it, that is mixed reality.
Okay. So that's mixed reality, in that you can actually engage with it, you can manipulate it. So augmented reality means you can see it, but you might not be able to engage with it or manipulate it or do things with it. Is that correct?
Yes, in a very broad scale. A lot of people call augmented reality mixed reality. I really think mixed reality is the next step for augmented.
Yeah, because we want to be able to engage with it. We want to be able to, like my interior design example with my wife, like for her to be able to see a room and then move the sofa around and in that space and see it in that room that's physical, but have it move it around so that you can see what it looks like when the finished product's done, so you can actually impact the different features that are in that room and change it around. Is that kind of...
That is correct. And if you listen to the keynote yesterday from the Microsoft event, they were very clear when they referenced it as mixed reality. When he was able to pull from the House app, when he was able to pull the benches and the chairs and be able to place them and move them around and manipulate them in some way and interact with them, that is mixed reality.
Got it. That's cool. Thank you. Yeah, that's a good...
And I wanted to...
Go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. No, I wanted to mention there that also Robert Scoble was saying just a few weeks back that I think it was Disney, when they are planning a new theme park in China, they were able to save $1 million because they were using these HoloLens to plan it all. So they were just changing things quickly, with the hands and so on. So this will allow us to do amazing, savings as to time and money and resources. And we are obviously, people have to travel much less, right? Because they can be wherever. And then another thing I would say that when like Cathy was showing that those virtual reality, I think like how this all goes so fast, maybe like in 5 years, we don't even have virtual reality anymore, right? Because everything will be mixed reality or augmented reality, right?
I agree with you, Lasse. I think it'll all be mobile or it'll be a wearable.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think this is the entry. This is the first way to get in there. The first way. I mean, we had Google Glass several years back. It didn't work out. The market wasn't ready. We've had AR on our phones for a long time, even though people didn't even know. But the AR has been around for a long time on our phones. We're going to have what's called mobile VR, and we're going to have the wearable part of it, which whether it is a set of glasses, a set of contact lenses, a set of implants. I know that scares people. But it is coming in that way, and I can tell you from what I have been able to experience and what I've been able to test out, I have seen the way my children who are 4 and 6 are going to interact with computers and with the world. And it is truly breathtaking and amazing. So
that's
cool.
I'm
pumped. I'm excited.
Tom Cruise had me when he was, in that movie and he was doing the whole thing. I was like, that's cool. I want to do that, So if it's anything, as cool as that, not just because Tom was doing it, but because it was really it expands our ability to be creative. And, again, going back to the example of Darcy, I mean, imagine what she's going to be able to do when she can create a space in the matter of minutes and leverage fabrics and different things in the room, whether it's a lamp or a sofa, and just move things around and create a space instantly and then immerse that person in it. I mean, the creativity, the time from the inception of the concept to, or the conception of the concept to delivery and the reality of that person experiencing it is instantaneous, because they're able, you could literally have that person experience and be actually collaborative with you in that whole creative process. That's a whole different, you know, and what it does is it enables her to create a space that is with that person, as opposed to her just doing it and saying, okay, what do you think about this? And then, I mean, it's gonna decrease the time to get to the end result, and it's also gonna decrease the effort, and it's also gonna, I think, create just a much more true to what that person wants type of an end result. Does that make sense?
Completely.
Yeah.
And I think that once we get volumetrics, because we already have 6 degrees of freedom with the HTC Vive and the Oculus, and now with what's coming from Microsoft, which is exciting. And it's, you know, that's, if you're going to get a headset, that's what you need to look for. But when we do have volumetrics, and once we have haptics, and haptics is when you're going to be able to feel, you're going to be able to have, there's a sensory part of it, when you're going to be able to feel these things. So if I'm out shopping for a fabric for my couch, and I can love the color and I can see it, but when I'm going to be able to feel that and feel the texture in a virtual world, and this is like this is probably 10, 15 years from now, maybe even sooner, who knows? But once we get haptics in that sense, it's going to be amazing, because they're going to be able to purchase this, and yeah, eventually the couch will be in their home. But once they feel it, that it's truly amazing. And to your point about how it's going to change industries, in the medical side of things, when they're able to get into your brain, 3D scan, do a 3D scan MRI, be able to look inside your brain before they go in, it's going to reduce human error.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. And Cathy, I wanted to quickly ask you about the HoloLens. I understand that it's quite expensive now, and it's really heavy, and not many people can have it, and so on and so forth. But can you describe to people how was it when you were trying them?
Definitely. I can tell you, I had it on for probably about an hour, and I think that's the max I could handle. Yeah, it was pretty interesting though. It adjusts in the back, so I have a pretty small head because I'm kind of tiny. As Ryan knows me, I'm kind of short. So you know, it adjusts. It was comfortable. It's just, I think after an hour, it just got to be too much. You do start sweating around this area, and then the eyes, it just gets to be a little too much. And the experience was fantastic, you know, mind blowing. Ryan, I don't know if you can go to my Facebook and maybe load some of my magic, my Hololens videos. That would be fantastic.
Is it just Cathy?
Cathy Hackl. Yeah, go to my personal one. If not, I've got some on my screen. I might be able to share them. But the experience was truly fantastic. I was at a hotel. I'm just sitting at a hotel lobby using the HoloLens, so I'm able to see. Yeah, if you go to videos, you'll be able to find them there. Okay. The experience was fantastic. This is the thing, though, and because I've been able to test other things, it was truly fantastic. I think there's amazing potential. This is the thing. The hand gestures that you have right now for the HoloLens. For example, when you put the HoloLens and you activate, in order for the menu to pop up, you have to go your hand gestures like this. It's like a flower, let's say, and that's fine. But everything is done. Most everything then is done by activating things by clicking on them this way. Okay, this is not necessarily a very natural hand gesture. Mm-hmm. So after doing this for a whole hour, your hand is not very happy. So I could definitely feel after an hour the fatigue of, you know, these are not, you know, I don't use this pinching experience, you know. Oh, it's not there. Can I share my screen, Ryan?
Yes, you can. Absolutely. Okay. Hold on.
So how do I just go? This is my first time using Blue Jeans. So
yeah, that's why I wanted to have you on here. So because I see you doing this, I mean, definitely like using this a lot, because I think Lasse is like, wow, that's why I wanted to get you on. I invited Robert Scoble, by the way. I just sent a private message to Robert and to Ryan Bell and also to Brian Fanzo. So and by the way, guys, just as a really quick like house cleaning quick tip for you guys. I mean, I'm telling you guys, this is going to be really cool. I'm sharing, let me share my screens just so that you can use this. So when you use this tool, go here to the presenter tab and then grab the link and then share that as a private message to somebody when you share your Facebook. So like we're here, you know, in you know, going live, share this
Oh,
you know,
fantastic.
as a
Okay.
private message to somebody, and then insert that link so that they can just jump right in. So you just send a private message
Yeah, then that's
to,
what you did with me. Yeah.
yeah. So go to a private message and then put their name in, and then put the link in there, and then they can just jump right in.
How do I share my screen? Can you, since we are
Yeah.
live doing this,
Okay.
can you
So
tell
share
me
your.
where do I go?
Okay. Yeah. There should be on the right hand side here. Let me here. So Sharon, you should see this little, the little right above it should be a Q&A button. If you're using the app, there should be
Content sharing.
yeah.
Sharing
Yep.
options. Got it.
Yep.
Okay. Let me click on that. Sharing options.
And if you guys have any questions, I don't know, are you guys seeing any questions from the, yeah?
Yeah,
You got some?
we haven't encouraged, but please send questions if you have.
Yeah.
Please type them.
And
Are you seeing
if
my
you want
screen?
to, I am, yes.
Okay. Let me minimize.
No, I was saying here quickly that maybe we are many things are kind of like advanced and maybe we are going fast and so on. But if anyone has any kind of question related to anything VR or virtual reality, please type them.
And sorry. Oh, hold on.
Do you want me to share this to your personal profile page, Kathy? Is that okay? I'll share it to your group or to your page.
Hold on. Let me stop this one. Let me do this. And sorry for my desktop being like super messy. Get rid of that. Okay, let me expand this.
Well, you didn't know you were going to be sharing your.
No, and I've been traveling, so it's always a mess before a presentation. So let me show you this. This is a video I filmed in San Francisco. It's really close to Twitter. I was at a Twitter event, but I was staying at a hotel really close to the Twitter office, and I was just sitting in the lobby, and I was able to test out the Microsoft Hololens. So what you're seeing in the background is the lobby of the hotel, like the concierge, blah blah blah. And I've got the Hololens. I'm able to play with these holograms, and I was able to share this video directly from the Hololens to my Facebook page.
Wow! And are we seeing in video the same thing you were seeing, right?
Exactly. You're seeing it from my point of view.
Wow. Oh, so there's the things from the, okay, so there's the virtual.
So that's a hologram, right?
Yeah. And what goggles are you using? Are you using
Microsoft HoloLens?
The HoloLens, okay. Okay. So you can see this is really an example of mixed reality because you're able to affect what's going on and play and with different gestures. And Mark Zuckerberg just demonstrated this as well. He was doing a presentation from stage and at a recent event, and they demonstrated him and his wife and two other people using something similar to this. It was
social
really
VR.
amazing.
He was doing social VR with the Oculus. So you see let me close that and let me go back to blue jeans. So
that's really cool. So you're using different gestures, and you were showing your gestures with your finger there.
Hey, what are you seeing now on screen?
Just you. Yep. You're not showing your screen anymore.
Okay. So yeah, you saw the hand gestures. This is to pull up the menu, and you can actually do Skype calls on the Microsoft HoloLens if you wish to. You can share to your Instagram and to your Facebook. It's pretty interesting. I'm going to be able to show you some more videos on how I used it. I was able to watch YouTube on my Microsoft HoloLens. So I was watching some videos like Beyonce or whatever it is that you wanted to watch. And yeah, it was pretty fun. I could say though an hour was the max I could handle. And I said some of the hand gestures. This one didn't bother me, but the pinching. I don't know if you saw when you were looking at the video, a little donut that appeared.
Yeah.
A little.
Yes.
When the donut appears, it means that you can click on things.
Gotcha.
So that's like a signal.
And did you have any headache after that?
No, not at all. Not at all. I've never suffered any type of headache or any type of nausea using VR.
Yeah, my experience, I experienced VR for the first time at CES this past year, like in a really amazing way. Like it just impacted me big time because as you know, like I really enjoy water sports, and I enjoy surfing. I've been surfing my entire life, and I've never, not everybody gets to experience, surfing, 20, 30-foot waves, because it's pretty darn dangerous. And actually, there's this one spot called Chopu that has got the biggest and just most powerful wave in the world. The lip is literally of the wave is about 7-8 feet thick. So if you wipe out on that wave, you're toast. But this guy basically took a GoPro cube that has 6 different GoPros, and they stitch all the videos together to make it so that it's full 360. And he took one of these on him when he took one of these waves, and that's what I was experiencing through the lenses at CES at the GoPro booth. And I was just blown away. I was sweating. I was crouching down, and all the people around me were like, backing up because they didn't know what was going on. It looked like I had been possessed or something, because I was, like literally, like I couldn't tell that I wasn't there. Like my body, my mind was, it was fully immersed, and I could look around, and it was amazing. So, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Now, what you're saying is you can actually, interact with the environment and affect it and virtually, which is really, really amazing. And there's a lot of implications for businesses. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what comes down the pike in the next 4 or 5 years. I mean, when you can effectively feel the fabric, whether it's an interior designer or a company that's selling, or basically selling shirts or things like that or whatever. I mean, it's gonna play a very big role in business in the coming years. So I'm grateful that you were able to come on and give us a little bit more of an understanding of what exactly the difference is between VR, AR, and mixed reality. And yeah, I think
one question.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. We have one question from Magnus, and I think Cathy is the best to answer. So Magnus is asking, how much do you guys see gaming industry leading the revolution and dictating the way of what comes next? For example, Sony's PlayStation is spreading fast.
Yeah.
What do you say?
I think the gaming industry has been one of the catalysts of VR being accepted into, well, we're not there yet, but in the the entry into general market. The PSVR, the sales have been through the roof. Very interesting. You have to have, when you buy the PSVR, you do have to have a PS4 to play. So I think that people need to know that. It's not just you go buy the gear. No, you have to have a PS4 to be able to play. So I think gaming is at the forefront. If you go to, for example, one of the things, and Robert Scoble talks about this, and I've been playing around with it, creating my own worlds, Unity. If you want to start to understand VR from a digital aspect, start building on Unity. Start understanding Unity. There's a free version, and I'm a huge, evangelist of Unity. I'm actually going back to San Francisco in November. They invited me to the HQ. So start playing around with Unity and learn Unity, because what you're going to be able to use this for and learn how it works is truly fantastic. But from a gaming perspective, you can create your own game. You can. Yeah. I mean, this is fantastic. You can go to Unity without being a coder. I'm not a coder, and I have created my own experiences. So that's one of my pieces of advice.
Yeah. And interestingly, Magnus, I think, works for Unity, or I think he works for a company that was bought by Unity. He will answer now. So that I
can't see. Is it in the Q&A or is it
on my page, because we share this all over the place.
Fantastic. Yeah, well, I'm a huge fan of Unity and a huge fan of High Fidelity. So yeah, it's they're a little bit competing spaces, but not 100%. But I want to show you something from High Fidelity, and I want to show you something from Outspace VR on the social VR front. But let me. Okay, I have so much to show you guys.
Yeah, show us.
I'll show you the other Microsoft Hololens video, and then I'm going to show you something from High Fidelity, because I think it is truly interesting. So, am I still sharing my screen?
Let me see. No, you're not.
Okay, Okay. Can you see it?
Yes, we're starting to see it. Yes.
Okay, so this is another video from the Hololens.
And also tell people when the HoloLens is coming out, and do you have any information?
Yeah, you can buy the developer kit right now for $3,000. There's a $5,000 version as well. but I wouldn't recommend that you buy it for mass consumption right now.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So there you are
But you can
watching
see my friend on the side. So that's just one of the videos. Let me show you another one.
That's cool. So Unity is what they is what you would use to create software to create these the virtual worlds.
And I don't know what's like on, but you can see here shared from my HoloLens. I shared this directly. Oh, that one's in Spanish. Hold on.
So there's you watching a YouTube video, and you got the screen right there. Wow.
How good was the quality of that YouTube video that you were watching with HoloLens?
Perfect.
Wow.
I mean, here it might not look perfect because I uploaded this from the HoloLens, but when I was using the HoloLens, it was perfect. And you can see my friend on the side. She's over here on the side.
Wow.
And have they estimated when this would be like on stores, you know, the new version? Not really.
Hold on. I'll stop it. Give me a second to get back to Blue Jeans. Okay, am I done sharing? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. When will advancers, I mean, you can purchase it right now, but like I said, I wouldn't purchase it for mass consumption right now. There are places that rent it out. You didn't hear it from me. That's kind of a hush-hush in our business. But it's not cheap. But, you know, if you don't want to pay $3,000 for something that's still developing, they're still developing content and everything, you can rent it out and kind of test it out. And if you want to develop apps of the nature, I'm a Microsoft insider, so I get, you know, to do some fun stuff as well. But yeah, I mean, when are we going to have this to mass market? I mean, the prices are going to eventually go down. They, from a VR perspective, not so much from the HoloLens perspective, they made the big announcement yesterday that they're launching a pretty interesting VR headset with 6 degrees of freedom. So what the Oculus and HTC Vive offers you for $299.
Wow. Who was that?
I mean, huge impact.
That was Microsoft or?
Microsoft. If you Google Microsoft event, they had amazing announcements yesterday on 3D, the Paint 3D, the HoloLens, the VR side of things. So yeah, I don't know when the HoloLens is going to be kind of in mass market. I mean, maybe next year. I don't know. I don't know, but I can tell you that. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go out and buy one right now. I would rent it if you really wanted to do that kind of exploration and understand how it works. And if, let's say you have the ability to create apps for it, then by all means rent it out and try to test it out, or call anyone that you know might have one.
Okay. So. And another question to you: what do you think about Google's? They are launching this new phone, right? That has VR. What was the name of this?
Google phone? Pixel and the Google Daydream Viewer. When I saw the announcement, I got extremely excited. But then after really thinking about it, I said, okay, well, the reality is that I'd rather wait for Google Tango. I think I'm more excited about Google Tango than I am about the Google Pixel. And Google Tango is going to come in phones like the Lenovo Fab 2, which has been, supposedly they make announcements about it going on sale, on and on and on. It's supposed to go on sale in November. Who knows if that's going to happen? I'm more excited about Google Tango and doing that 3D scanning. I had ordered the Google Pixel and I canceled it, especially because it does not have those 6 degrees of freedom. So the content is going to be truly amazing, but I already have a Samsung Gear 360 and a Samsung phone. So I'd rather wait for it a little bit. And I think that the announcements that Microsoft did yesterday blow it out of the water. Completely.
Interesting.
So
when you say 6 degrees of freedom, what do you mean by that?
When you're able to move in a certain way, right now, most of the VR experiences are pretty static. Mm-hmm. You're recommended sitting down, or you have to have a certain specific amount of space for VR. But so yeah, it's if you Google what Robert Scoble talks about, he talks a lot about 6 degrees of freedom. So actually, I tweeted at him yesterday during the keynote and said, "Oh my gosh, Microsoft VR 6 degrees of freedom!" I'm like freaking out. So.
Well, so check this out. So here's an example of what social VR. This is what Mark Zuckerberg did yesterday. And would you consider this an example of mixed or augmented or both, or I just want to give some examples so people can see
Maybe
and
you can put it
experience.
full screen. So
Yeah.
I mean, this is social VR. I don't know. Like, I don't know how I would qualify that. Whether it's an element mix, but you are a digital. You are a virtual avatar.
Yeah.
It's not you necessarily.
So here, I'll just play this so you can see like these people are in a virtual space. See, he's presenting from stage, and she just popped up a video. She just immediately like immersed them into a video, it's like a GoPro video where they're swimming with sharks, and they're immediately in there, and you've got people in space that are engaging with each other. You can't hear the audio, but and then he pops up and he's got this thing in his hand. They've got controllers in their hand to be able to okay, now all of a sudden he just pops them into, they're on Mars, and then what's interesting though is that later on in this, they go virtually to the Facebook,
his office and to his house,
and they go to his house, and it's just amazing, like what you can do with. I just want people to kind of get some perspective. This is his house, and then he calls up Priscilla, his wife, and then they do a virtual selfie like live. It was just amazing. Like he takes a selfie stick out and he does a selfie with Priscilla next to him, and it was just like, whoa. So I mean, so you're just saying this is more of a social type of a VR?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really sat down and said, what do I qualify this as, or what box do I put it in? I haven't really thought about that. It's definitely a pure example of social VR. And where Facebook is going. Facebook wouldn't have paid $2 billion for Oculus if it didn't believe in the future of VR.
Right.
So, and guys, in this, I personally was supposed to be at OC3. I got invited, but I had to cancel my trip because of the hurricane, et cetera, et cetera. But this, what you saw at OC3 compared to what they showed at OC2 is amazing. I mean, OC2 last year, it's literally like these like blue blobs. It wasn't anything exciting. The amount of progress that they have had on this front in a year is truly fantastic.
Yeah.
And when I was at Facebook, what was it, 2 weeks before OC3, and I got a chance. I think you saw my video. I got a chance to see Mark Zuckerberg. He was coming in, I think, for a meeting. Apparently, it was a meeting with the Oculus team, and he was pacing around back and forth. And it was pretty interesting for me to see that. I'm like, oh my god, freaking out! I just saw Mark Zuckerberg, and this is the Oculus team. It was pretty interesting that they were making these types of announcements. So
yeah, it really. I tried to get Ryan Bell's not going to be able to join. I guess he said he tried, but it really is the speed that we're seeing things change, the rate of change that we're seeing in this environment, in the environment of virtual reality and augmented reality and mixed reality, is amazing, and that's why I wanted to have this meeting with Lasse. Number one is to talk to him about this, and then I'm glad that I was able to introduce you guys, and ultimately, the question is because I have a digital marketing agency and Lasse does as well. It's like, how does this correlate? That's what it's what we started out with, is how does this correlate to business, and how do businesses incorporate this? I just wanted to kind of paint the picture of what's to come, so that businesses can prepare themselves, so that they can put themselves out on the leading edge, which will then allow them to garner more, basically more reach and more share of the audience, because they're the thought leaders. Every time that I've done this with my business, it's allowed me to stay ahead of the curve and be ready for it and embrace it. I think that ability to be able to embrace the change is important as a business, whether you're a business owner or a coach or whatever. There's so many opportunities, and really the only limitations you have is your creativity. I mean, even with virtual reality, I'll give you just a quick case study. I don't know if you saw this, and we can kind of sort of end with this, because I know we've all got to go on with our day here. But basically, there's like Ollie camera. It's just a simple camera that live streams in 360. But when we're at the Vid Summit and speaking, Alex Bosch, who's the president of the company for Ollie camera, he was told that there's a new use case, and what this company is doing is they've got this event where it's a bike ride around Australia, and they wanted to make it available to people that weren't able to actually ride bikes. So what they did is they took one of these 360 cameras and they put it on a bike that's solar powered, and it's actually tagging behind another bike virtually that's riderless. It's a riderless bike, and the only thing that's on there is one of these 360 cameras. And so what they're doing is they're going live in 360 to YouTube, and in order for people that can't ride a bike to be able to experience that and to be immersed in that environment. So it's just amazing. That's a great example, I think, of what can be done with these technologies, and we're just at the very beginning of this. I think we're going to see so many more use cases like that.
And if you want, I can give you 3 actionable items for businesses, small to medium businesses, that they can use virtual reality in some way, shape, or form.
Yes.
And by the way, I'm going to Santa Monica in like 2 weeks for a family's wedding, and the great grandparents can come, so I'm filming it in 360 for them. So
cool.
Wow.
I think we're going to be seeing that more and more happen, when you're trying to retain those memories. So 3 actionable items. First of all, get some branded cardboard. Get some branded cardboard. Just, it's really easy to order. There's a company called, I think it's Unbranded, here in the US, where you can get branded cardboard with your logo. If you have an event and you can give these out, that makes you kind of look innovative.
Yes.
That's one. It's easy to do, very easy. How
much would it cost?
I think the unbranded, I think it's like $20 and $19. I mean, it's not cheap, but there are contacts in China that can produce it for less, but that's everyone's choice what they decide to do, where they get their cardboard. There are companies in the US that do it as well. That's one action item. Then if you're a company, you're going to be an exhibitor at an event, and I'm seeing this pop up in all the events I'm going, have a virtual reality element to your booth. At the event I was this week, they just had the Samsung VRs, and they had phones in them, and they had experiences, and that made that brand, quote unquote, look innovative. So if you have a booth, why not add some type of virtual element to it? It doesn't have to be your own content. You could just pull the content from YouTube, from Alley Camera, whatever, and show it and have people experience VR, because you're introducing them to this new technology. Okay. And then the third actionable item. If you are a small business, don't think that VR is necessarily too expensive. I mean, good production is not going to be cheap, but you can always produce your own 360-degree videos with an Alley camera or other cameras, and record your office, or record if you own some type of bakery. How is the cookie made? Record some type of interesting 360-degree video, and use that. So those are 3 very simple actionable items that small to medium businesses can use right now to incorporate VR in some way, shape, or form into their marketing mix.
Oh, that's awesome. I've got so really quick. So that is awesome. A couple things. Number one of my clients, I work with a lot of property management companies, and one of my clients, Michael Sands, who's with Niche Properties in Australia, he does a lot of the virtual walkthrough tours with the still 360 photos. And what we're doing now is we're getting them an Ollie camera to develop a use case of going live on YouTube, so that people can actually go, and you could create almost like an auction type of environment for people to be able to experience live. Exactly. It's a virtual open house. It's so cool. So that's what we're doing with him. What's interesting is that I was like, wow, we could do this, because Darcy, as you know, my wife, she's opening up her new showroom here in San Diego in about a month or 2. And what we're doing is and that's what I said, because what Michael's doing is he's actually giving out. He's found a connection in China, and he's able to get these goggles for about $3 for a plastic immersive set of goggles. Just so you know. So so what he's doing is he's putting his logo on them. He's given out, I think, close to 200 so far. Yeah. Every one of his prospective clients, this is a huge tip if you're a realtor, this is a mind bomb. He gives those out as a way for him to be able to immerse them into the virtual walkthrough tours that are already recorded. And now what he's going to do is he's going to have these walkthrough tours that are live. And do you think they're going to, he's the innovator. He's decreasing the time on market for his properties and he's cutting it in half. And so we're going to do the same thing with Darcy's, with her open house that she's going to have. And because she's in a interior design, she's in the interior design space where it's very visual. What we're going to do is we're going to make it so that people can see her 3D renderings in VR. So we're using SketchUp is what she uses. So now there's a tool that can move that SketchUp into a 3D environment, and we're doing just that. We're getting the goggles, and so that people can, when they come in, they can actually not just experience it in 3D on the screen, they can actually be immersed in that space that she's designed for them. And eventually we're gonna do this we're gonna broadcast her event live in 360 as well. So it's good to hear that we're and I think that's great. So Lasse, I mean, this is something that we can both apply to our agencies, in terms of small businesses. So
and
with
even from that point, you can get some good PR. You can get some good PR for your clients, because you can send out a press release. We're still early in the game where you can still send out a press release, and some of the media is going to pick it up because, like, oh my gosh, you're using VR. It's totally still so early that this can, like, Anyway, I'm a PR person, so.
And that's a great topic, because that is what I was saying. That's what goes back to the reach. You get reach by being an innovator, and you get reach and you get distribution all by itself because you're innovating. And so people want to follow that. They want to highlight it, and like you said, you'll get picked up by the local news media, and that's what's so cool. Lasse, what were you gonna say?
No, just thanks, guys, for your time and all these examples. They have been really, really amazing, and all those tips that Cathy was mentioning, and also Ryan, that example already is amazing. And I only add that, like, what we have seen is that when you go live on YouTube, that ranks better than the typical videos on YouTube, which is really interesting. It starts ranking already, like, beforehand, because you can create an event and so many benefits for that. So that's amazing thing. The only last thing, I think it was really interesting in Helsinki, Finland. Since I'm from there, I have to talk about it. So they had this event called Nordic Business Forum, and I think it was the first event in the world that was also streamed in VR. And this is also really significant because thinking about, like, VIT Summit or something, not everybody can travel there and so on. But maybe you can have your event in San Diego or Los Angeles, but there can be 10,000 people watching it using VR, and they are in Europe or Asia, or they could be 100,000. So it will give amazing opportunities for all of us to do all kinds of things, and also businesses to reach more people and affect more people. So it's really exciting. And thanks for your time, guys. It has been great.
Yeah, absolutely. So if somebody wants to get a hold of you, Lasse, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Just type my name on Google and find me. So I'm all over the place. Facebook is probably the best one, and as you said, my last name is a bit not so common. So yeah, just find me on Facebook.
Awesome. And then Cathy,
Lasse, where are you based out of right now?
Alicante, Spain.
Alicante.
So we have to do this
I used to live in Madrid.
Oh wow! So we have to do this in Spanish. A lot of people are waiting to hear from you and share.
I teach at Instituto de Empresa.
Really, in Madrid? Wow, that's amazing. I gave the you lecture as well. That's great. Okay, so we need to schedule for that.
Small world. But anyway, if people want to get a hold of me, you can find me as Cathy Hackl, Hackl, no I or E anywhere. You can find me on any of the channels. I am Cathy.Hackl on Snapchat. But yeah, just, and I'm working on a new website, et cetera, et cetera.
Awesome. And if you guys want to reach me, you can, same thing with me. It's Ryan Steinolfson, STEINOLFSON. You can also just text me directly, 619-304-5155. I have a system that I use for texting if you want to communicate that way. But yeah, man, I mean, this was great. Thank you, Cathy, for joining. And thank you, Lasse, for joining as well. It was just awesome. I learned a lot. Cathy, we're still on for tomorrow, right?
What time? I don't even know. I'm confused. I'm like, I thought we were doing something tomorrow. Just send me a text.
Okay. No, we are still on for tomorrow. This is just like an intro.
I voted, by the way. It's not political. I'm just saying, get out and vote if you're in the U.S.
Love it. Yeah, we need to vote. Exactly. So, all right, guys. Thank you, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, guys. Bye-bye. Yep.